sighing in my garden night. I can't help it, God makes me wanna sing. I can't help it, God makes me wanna sing. And it feels so good, I can do most anything. I've been rising to a higher place with my wit and bad and smiles upon my face. I'm living my dream a little more each day. Keep getting you to find my way. I'm rising, yes I am, to the higher place. I can't help it, God makes me wanna sing. Yeah, I can't help it, God makes me wanna sing. Makes me feel so good, I can do most anything. I can't help it, God makes me wanna sing. I can't help it, God makes me wanna sing. And it feels so good, I can do most anything. All right, everybody, let's stand and sing on this beautiful Sunday morning. Let me hear you. Rise up, oh my soul. Rise up, oh my soul. Rise up, oh my soul. Let Spirit flow. Let it flow. Rise up, oh my soul. Rise up, oh my soul. Show me the kingdom wherever I go. Rise up, oh my soul. Rise up, oh my soul. Rise up, oh my soul. Let the Spirit flow. Yes, let it flow. Rise up, oh my soul. Rise up, oh my soul. Show me the kingdom wherever I go. Show me, Fred. Clap your hands. Rise up, oh my soul. Rise up, oh my soul. Yes, sir. Rise up, oh my soul. Let Spirit flow. Let it flow. Rise up, oh my soul. Yeah. Rise up, oh my soul. Show me the kingdom wherever I go. Woo! Rise up, oh my soul. Rise up, oh my soul. That's it. Rise up, oh my soul. Let Spirit flow. Let it flow. Rise up, oh my soul. Rise up, oh my soul. Show me the kingdom wherever I go. Yeah. Show me the kingdom wherever I go. Oh, one more time. Show me the kingdom wherever I go. All right, we're feeling good. Yes, we are. We let the love wash over us. We let we peace wash over us. We let it be. We let the peace wash over us. We let it be. We let the joy wash over us. We let it be. We let the joy wash over us. We let it be. We let the love wash over us. We let it be. We let the love wash over us. We let it be.
Oh, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, everybody here at Unity Church of Overland Park and all of you in our online balcony. I see you, I feel you as well. And it's good to see and to be with all of you this morning. I'm Reverend Eileen Stulak. I'm the Associate Minister of Operations here at the church. And
I'm Reverend Jen Dickey, and just delighted to be here this morning. And where's Reverend Jackie?
well, you know, Reverend Jackie had every intention of being here, but you know what they say about the best laid plans? You know, God just kind of laughs. But actually, God didn't laugh at her plan, but the airline scoffed at her plan. She went out early last week to Colorado to spend the week with her wife, Tammy. She was working remotely, and everything was going great. And late Friday night, I get a text from her that says that she, by accident, found out that her airline had canceled her Saturday flight back home so that she could be here. So luckily, she was trying to check in for the flight, and it kept saying, "You don't have a seat." And so she got on the phone and found out why she didn't have a seat. So the earliest, I guess, for the holiday weekend is that to get her back here would be tomorrow. And so, again, best laid plans. And I told her, you know, I know you want to be here, and I think she's watching, so you're right here with us, Jackie, for sure. But, you know, she got a couple extra days with Tammy. So, you know, what's wrong with that, right? So safe travels home tomorrow. Jackie, we'll see you back in the office and back here next Sunday.
We don't have to behave ourselves, do we?
Never. We never have to behave
kind of
ourselves.
overrated anyway.
No, I would not have accepted the job if that was a condition of
True,
employment.
very true.
You know. So, anyway, before we open with prayer, tomorrow obviously it is the Labor Day holiday, but there's another really special holiday that we want to celebrate today that is happening tomorrow, and that is the birth date of this wonderful person right here. And so, would you join and sing it in?
So much. And speaking of band, let's hear it for Reverend Fred Albers. We've got Terry Swope on vocals and guitar today. We have James Albright on bass. We have Brad Evilsizer, who's on drums today. And of course, we have Amanda Hubbard here doing our ASL interpretation. So thank you to this amazing team. We love you.
All right, so what better way to start a prayer than with all the joy and the gratitude that's in our hearts right now? So let's take that moment in whatever way works for each of us to just turn within to Spirit's presence in us and just say, good morning. Good morning, Spirit, God, divine love, source, whatever word or name brings each of us into that intentional connection of the awareness that we have in the this presence that is always active and alive and working in us and through us, helping us to express its presence in this world. And so we just open to this new day, this wonderful gift of a new day. And take a moment to think about all the awe and the wonder that it contains, whether we think about it or not, or are aware of it or not, just the simple act of breathing, of being able to notice the beauty in the ordinary, to write the next paragraphs, chapters of our life stories. And when we come into this world, we have all that we need to live the life that we're called to live. And so we acknowledge those powers within us, like imagination and creativity, of power, of love, faith, intelligence, wisdom, all these things that are constantly doing this wonderful dance within us that helps us know what step we take next. And that is all possible because of one of the most powerful affirmations of truth that we offer each and every Sunday here. And we speak it aloud together to give it the power of our collective and individual voices. And so would you join with me now in affirming together that there is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, God, the source of all good.
And we stay in that sweet and sacred space by holding in mind, by holding in heart all of those that we lift up in prayer, all of those who have needs, affirming that all our needs are met, that every answer that we are seeking we have within ourselves, and we enjoy this process of unfolding, this process of coming alive. We radiate love in our personhood and throughout, and it creates this beautiful ripple effect that impacts the world, and people can't help but see, wow, I see the love and the light and the presence and the power of God. So for all of those requests that we have, that which is spoken and that which is unspoken, we lovingly release this, knowing it is done, knowing it is good, and knowing that all is well. Thank you, Spirit. And so it is. Amen.
I'll take you there. I'll take you there.
Hi, everybody. I'm Tiffany,
And I'm Barb.
and we just have a few announcements for you. So the first thing is that September 24th is the start of our Fall Faith series, and we're going to kick it off with Rock and Roll Sunday. Yeah, okay. It's back. So please mark your calendars for September 24th. The book for this year's series is Living in the Light by Deepak Chopra, and you can pick one up in our cafe. We're selling them here for $16. You don't have to buy one here, but if that's more convenient for you, you can, and they'll be sold back in the cafe. And you can also begin signing up now for small groups. And there will be sign-up sheets in the back, but also you can do that online through the e-news. There will be a link. And these groups, some of them will be online groups, some of them will be in person. They'll be in person both in people's homes and also here at the Plex Pod. And as you know, they're a great way to dive deeper into the Sunday series, lessons, and also a really great way to just make new friends and deepen your connections in this spiritual community. And so we would invite you to start today signing up for a small group.
Yay. The next annual cycle of the Good Faith Network's social justice work begins very soon. You might recall that we joined the Good Faith Network in the middle of last year's process, so this is an opportunity for us to be involved from the very start. On September 12th, the first meeting of clergy and team leaders from member congregations will take place. They will make plans for a community-wide meeting that will take place later this fall. We currently have 3, possibly 4 team leaders from our congregation. And if you are interested in learning more about becoming one, please see Reverend Eileen or Angela Herman after the service.
Yeah, do it. We need good team leaders. It's a really great project. Okay, and then as promised, Reverend Jackie has scheduled another offering of her What is the Bible and Is It True workshop, and that will be on Sunday, October 1st at 11:30 in the morning. There was a lot of really great participation and feedback received after her first session, so mark your calendars because you do not want to miss out. There's a sign-up sheet on the table in the back. Also, online registration will be available in the e-news, and there will be a Zoom option also for those of you in the balcony, if that's more convenient. We'd love to have you do that by Zoom, and also we will have ASL support.
Right. Lastly, in 2 weeks, we welcome back Reverend Sandra Campbell as our guest speaker. Reverend Sandra is the Executive Director of the Unity Urban Ministry School, serves on Unity World Headquarters Board of Directors, and is an Associate Minister at Unity Temple on the Plaza. We look forward to her joining us again.
And now, can we please speak together the joint vision statement of the Unity movement?
A world powerfully transformed through the growing movement of shared spiritual awakening.
Thank you, Tiffany and Barb. Terry, are you saying yes to life?
Yes. Maestro. Yes. Yes to life, I'm saying yes. Yes to life, I'm saying yes. Yeah, yes to life, I'm saying yes. Yes, yes, yes. Yes to life. Yes to life, I'm saying yes. Yes to life. Feel alive within me, expressing itself right now. The spirit of joy within me is expressing itself right now. What are we gonna create today? The universe is ready to play. Oh, we're never going stray if you just say yes. I'm saying yes. Yes to life, I'm saying yes. Yes, yes to life, I'm saying yes. Yes to life, I'm saying yes, 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 yes. Yes to life. Yes to life, I'm saying yes. Yes to life. The spirit of life within me is expressing itself right now. The spirit of life within me is expressing itself right now. Whatsoever you conceive, if you believe it, you can't achieve. The universe will always agree if you just say yes. I'm saying yes. Yes to life, I'm saying yes, saying yes. Yes to life, I'm saying yes. Yes to life, I'm saying yes, 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 yes. Yes to life. Yes to life. I'm saying yes, yes. Yes to life, I'm saying yes. Yes, yes to life, I'm saying yes. I'm saying yes. Yes.
Thank you, Terry. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Let me get, I've going to come a little bit closer to you all. All right. Okay, so I want to open my lesson today by choosing my words and maybe much more specifically speaking my words very, very carefully. Shift. I don't think you got it. Shift happens. Shift happens. I mean, just 1 week ago today, I was standing right here in front of you at the close of the service, and I invited you all to come back because, well, not only because, but part of the reason why was I was going to offer a lesson about manifesting a healthy life. Yeah, no. Hecklers. But Friday, when the e-news went out, you saw very clearly that I wasn't going to offer a lesson about manifesting a healthy life. I was going to be offering a lesson about the shifting sands of a firm foundation. Shift happens. And when I think about shifting sands, I think about how sometimes they just get the short end of the stick when they're included in stories or conversations about foundations. You know, there's a story in the book of the Bible, in the book of Matthew, about shifting sands. And there's a parable in there that's attributed to Jesus, and it goes on to say that he's saying to folks that if you listen to my teachings and then go put them into action in your life, well, then that's like a very wise person who builds their house on a foundation of solid rock, that will withstand the winds and the rains and so forth. It will remain standing more often than not. Whereas if you don't listen to his teachings, or you do, but then you choose just not to put them into action in your life, well, that's like a foolish person who builds their house on top of a foundation of sand, where the odds are really, really, really good that it will come crashing down and fall apart when nature does what nature can do. And then Friday morning, I sat down to start my writing for today, and it struck me that I also gave shifting sands the short end of the stick. Because I realized that the better choice of words for the title of my lesson would have been the shifting sands on a firm foundation. Not of a firm foundation, but on a firm foundation. And shift happened. The larger focus of this lesson began to move towards the importance of shifting sands in our lives, the integral role that their shifting plays in how, or even if, we wake up to that which wants us to stop sleeping or sleepwalking through life. So I decided to just let myself be led in that direction, staying open to the aspect of foundations making its way back, or perhaps not making its way back until another time. Considering sand from this perspective, an image that just almost immediately popped into my mind was that of an hourglass. The sand moves from that top compartment into the one below it. And I thought about all the board games that I played as a child, and how those sands in the sands in the hourglass were like a timer. Sometimes it showed whether or not I had achieved a particular goal of the game that would allow me to continue playing the game. Sometimes it would tell me that I actually won the game. And I saw how this image of the hourglass and the sands moving through it could also really be symbolic of my life today. I could see that hourglass really, the container, that's my body, which is the container of my life. And the sands moving from that top compartment into the bottom is the passage of my life. And then when that one last grain of sand drops into the bottom, well, that would be the end of this human life. And I began to ask myself, first of all, why am I even paying attention to this image, and do I really care? And if I do care, and am I paying close enough attention to the activity, the movement, the shifting of those sands while they're in that upper compartment? Am I really aware of how quickly that sand moves from the top into the bottom? Am I moving through my life in such a way that I'm alert to the subtle shifting that can take place? Or do I need a shift of earthquake proportions to wake me up? And if and when I have all the answers to all those questions, then what? And then I told myself to stop asking so many questions, just come back to what was right there in front of me, which was this lesson. And it might do me well to just clear my mind and listen for a little bit. And so I did, and I came up with a few things, discovered, uncovered, whatever the right word is, I'm not sure. But whatever it was, these are some things that I wanted to share with you today. And first, I just started to think about simple meanings that I could apply to this phrase of shifting sands. And I could see in one way how they were referring to how life is seemingly in a constant state of change. I could see an unpredictability in how the sand does move, which I could also apply to life and how it moves in me and others. And lastly, it struck me that even though that overall the world might be in a constant state of change from one moment to the next, the shifting sands as they apply to individual lives could represent changes that take place at various times and over periods of times, and not just in one moment or another. And all of that just brought me back to one of my original statements. What if I took all of those possible meanings and viewed shifting sand as something not to avoid, but rather to see it as an integral part of what sits on top of something much sturdier, something that is able to support and even perhaps help orchestrate the sand's movements in me, in my life. Because if you think about your homes, if you think about the physical structures in which you live, that structure does shift and change even as the foundation remains strong. And some of those shifts and change can be challenging, more challenging than others. Because very simply, over time, the roof is going to wear down and the whole thing is going to need to be replaced. Paint is going to fade or chip and require a new coat. Or sometimes, when nature does what nature can do, as we've been witness to just this past week, everything about that structure comes crashing down, gets wiped off of its foundation, requiring a total rebuild of that structure. And there are also shifts that can bring great joy. They can be quite joyful. I mean, that new coat of paint, it could be needed not because the old had anything wrong with it, but you just happened to be out one day and you saw a color that filled your heart with such joy and happiness, you wanted to put it all around your house so you would be surrounded by it, enfolded by it every single day. Others may have a wall in their house that is dedicated to nothing but special photos. Friends, families, places, experiences, foods, whatever it is that mean something to you. And those photographs are going to shift and change, get replaced, updated, perhaps new ones added, others taken down. Or sometimes an entire room or the entire interior gets intentionally gutted so that a completely different, wonderful remodel is done that more closely reflects who you are and where you are at that point in your life. So if I do believe that shifting sands existing in the context of changes occurring with or without my awareness in my life, and that they are integral to the unfoldment of my life, then what can I do to eliminate the need, the desire, the necessity for the earthquakes to wake me up or to help me stop sleepwalking through pieces or portions, periods of my life? And one thing I saw that might be helpful for me is to develop a welcoming sense of expectancy of the shifting in me, and thus more quickly identifying what the shift is all about. See, I know I have daily routines. I believe everybody has at least one daily routine to some extent, and I know that my routines can become habitual, and sometimes they can even slide into being robotic. And living a robotic life is the antithesis to being present and living in the moment. Being aware of, present to the moment, present to life, present to an experience, a specific experience taking place or trying to take place in life, to something that is going to shift one way or the other, whether I am aware of it in the moment or it allows enough time to pass before it says, okay, I've given you enough time, here's your earthquake, I'm going to jolt you up. So making this kind of change in my awareness relative to my routines is one thing that might help me to sense, feel, hear, intuit the shifts from their onset and participate more fully with whatever issues are rising to the surface and or potential changes that are being called for in my life. Another thing I could consider is to be more open to improvising in life, which really brings us right back to the idea of the present moment. I mean, have you ever seen a comedy improv performance, whether in person or on television or whatever? You know, that person is up on that stage, and that's all that's up on that stage. There's no props, there's nothing. It's them and their audience. And then they might, ask for somebody to holler something out, or maybe there's slips of paper, in a bag, and they just pull one out, and it has something written on there that they have to act out in some way so that you can guess what it is. Well, there's no way to plan ahead of time for that. There's no details given to them ahead of time. They need to improvise. And if you have ever seen this being done, I have been really in awe that most of the time it really doesn't take that person much time before a plan begins to develop in the moment. For example, I saw one time where the gentleman picked up the slip, whatever it was, and he invited a member of the audience to come up, and if they were able to get down on hands and knees perpendicular to where they were standing, and all of a sudden that audience member's back was a tabletop. Okay? So when life presents me with something, and it doesn't come into my awareness with a plan as well as the 10 steps on how to execute it successfully, my default does not have to be to do nothing or to just ignore it as if it has no value, no purpose. If nothing else, I think that making a change from ignoring it to just sitting still with it could ignite and possibly bring more easily into my awareness the first few grains of sand that are starting to shift. And then I could ease into all of my questions of what, why, where, when, and then what. That's how I would obviously like to envision the choice being. And the vision that started to come into my mind was about water, which really surprised me because I am a person who does not like to be in or on larger bodies of water. But I just let the image come, and what it was this. I was thinking about this course of like a whitewater rapids course. And I saw how it can be both relaxing and exhilarating. There's times where you're in your raft or whatever vessel it is, and you're just kind of laying back, and the oars are out of the water, and you're just gently being taken by the flow of the water, and you're able to just look around, enjoy the scenery. And then there are times where you're being lifted up and you're taken on quite a ride by the swells. But even the best of improv performers, even the best of us, will have moments when that plan doesn't come as easily and gently or feel as joyful and exhilarating. The shift that is calling for our attention, that is so not what we want, that is so not what we expected, intended, desired, or even thought could ever happen to us, is the one that feels more like you're paddling into the strongest of gales and the strongest of water currents coming against you. And all I can say about that right now is that the sense I have is that if I looked back over my entire life so far, I would likely see 9 or even 10 out of 10 times where those experiences were the ones where I had arrived at a fork in the road or the river that I wasn't thrilled about taking at that time. But when I did, I was led to something that ultimately turned out to be a pretty awesome experience. And that same hindsight also would tell me or show me how many signs, how many nudges, how many wake-up calls had been offered to me ahead of time that I just could not see or hear or feel or did and chose to ignore and turn away. And one last observation to share. It's made up of 2 relatively short, but I think very clear statements. And the first is that life is always going to bring us questions, opportunities, surprises, miracles, problems to solve. And how we live within whatever structure our day looks like is our choice. It is always our choice, no one else's. And the second thing is that we can rest assured that the sand in the top compartment of our hourglass is there for a very finite period of time. Shift happens. And about 2.5 weeks ago, my shift hit the fan. And the people laughed. And because it did, you may or may not, and either is fine, but you may or may not have noticed something different in how I have presented this lesson today. Today, I have used many I statements, not nearly the number of we statements I typically offer. Today, I've asked a lot of questions and haven't given any answers. I've prefaced many of my statements with the word if. I said, I think more than I said, I believe. I said, I could more than I say, or it could rather than it does. I said might and not will. And the reason for the emphasis on I is because the shift hit my fan, not yours, not ours. And honestly, the hit felt like one of those earthquake varieties that I mentioned earlier. And I'm fine. And it took about 1.5 weeks or more to get past that initial jolt. And I did. And now I'm really focused on unpacking everything that is coming into my awareness now, and all that I have a pretty deep feeling is still much more on its way. And so being in the process, with that being said, there are a few things that I feel solid about today that I'm comfortable saying out loud and sharing with you. This shift, even though I describe it as it felt like an earthquake, it did not arrive without a heads up. I just happened to miss some signs. I missed the subtleties, the nudges that I have now come to believe have been trying to get my attention over the past, not quite 2 years, but almost 2 years, as I have been working much more intentionally with educating myself and stepping into experiences of anti-racism, the LGBTQ community, and the deaf community. When speaking with someone before I was fine, they asked me if it might be possible that some, if not the majority of what I've been learning about myself in those three areas was having some difficulty blending with what I had either learned or been taught or experienced or not in those same three areas over the prior 61 years of my life. That perhaps the nudges I missed were those two periods of time and the experiences that I had in each around these areas of note, trying to come together, but instead just butting up against each other, unable to reconcile with one another. I mean, you talk about a great question. My gosh, that question for me to consider, it was such a gift. And now I have no doubt that it has opened a portal in me through which many more questions will follow and likely tap into many more, if not every area of my life, past and current. And sometimes that feels so freaking uncomfortable and even scary in moments. And other times it feels like my version of riding the rapids on dry land. And as far as the foundation supporting all of this, I'm not concerned. I'm not concerned. That's probably why it's not going to come back around today. And I'm even creating a space for questions, if any, about that, about the very foundation to present themselves as well. But I am confident that it is and it will remain strong, because one thing I absolutely believe in is that there is a greater power always within me and working with me, in me, as me, and lovingly supporting me through anything in life, always, at all times. That's rock solid. So I'm going to stay focused on what I put on top of it. And that focus is being done with one eye on that top compartment of my hourglass and looking and wondering which one of those grains of sand is going to be the one that drops last into that bottom compartment. Because when it does, I want to go out feeling so filled with contentment with the choices I have made and the life I have lived. And I will happily, joyfully affirm that very same thing for each and every one of you. God bless you.
God is, I am right here, right now, right here, right now. God is, I am.
If you haven't done so already, I invite you to close your outer eyes. And just as we close our eyes to sleep, we also close our eyes to come, to awaken to the truth of our being, to awaken to the power and the presence of the divine that is ever with us, through us, as us. And so I invite you to envision a stream, a slower moving stream. And as we're getting ready for fall to come next month, it's time for leaves to shed and for new beginning. A new foundation is being built. And so as we're looking at this stream, we notice some leaves going by. And we can look at those leaves and recognize them as thoughts. Whether they're to-dos, whether they're distractions, things that draw us away from this now present beautiful moment. We watch as that leaf comes downstream, and we release and watch it drift away. Perhaps there are branches or logs even coming down that stream, cluster of thoughts, of error, of lack. And so we surrender to this stream. We surrender our thoughts as they drift on by. And as there just seems to be more and more that are moving down this stream, we hit a point where we stop recognizing the leaves. We become so much more present to the beauty of this stream, of the flow of life. And soon there are no more leaves. There is only stillness. There is only silence. God is. I am. We know that just as the river of the flow of life continues to move, continues to carry us, we stay present to the now. So if you imagine with me this cool breeze gently touch your face, it brings a smile to your lips and to your eyes and to your heart. You bring yourself to this present moment that is so filled with gratitude and with love. And those leaves will continue to fall, and those branches will float by from time to time. All is well. All is well. Thank you, God. All is well. Namaste.
God is, I am, right here, right now, right here, right now. God is, I am.
We've been hearing those words for several weeks now, and I love hearing them. God is, I am. God is my source. I am the vessel through which I share all that Source is with others, through which I step into the flow of our teachings around prosperity and abundance. How it is that I take a teaching and put it into action as I give of my time, as I give of my skill sets and talents, and as I give of my financial prosperity. And so this is the time in our service where we take a moment to bless all of our giving, and in particular to prepare to give and receive the financial gifts from our hearts into the heart of this ministry. And so if you would join with me in either holding your gifts in your hands, holding them in your hearts, and blessing them together with the words that are before us now. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And I am joy-filled and grateful. Amen.
Me and the boys came up with a new song. We're going to play it for you today. It's called My Day. We hope you enjoy it. We hope it inspires you.
Can I have an audience member come up and be a table while or an amplifier? Got some technical issues. Excuse us a minute. Did you hear the one about the Unity minister? Yeah, we had a cable go down. It happens. Is it working? Always bring two basses, first of all. Or if I need to, I've got a left hand.
It's our new song. We hope you enjoy it. We hope it inspires you. Today is my day to shine. A day I can make all mine. And won't that be fine? Today is my day to grow. Connect everything I know. To be at ease and in the flow. Today is my day. Today is my day to thrive, to truly feel alive, or to revive. Today is my final day, throwing my life away. No, I won't go astray, 'cause I know it truly is my day. Yes, this is my day. Oh, let me This is my day to shine. The day when I finally define who I am, and I'm gonna make it today. Whatever shifts may come, whatever kind of race I'm run, yeah, you know this is my day. Hey, this is my day to thrive.
Terry Swope, the band, thank you for making our day this morning. It's wonderful as always. It's the start of this is a start of a new month, and so it's the beginning of recognizing, acknowledging, being grateful for a new one of our volunteer teams. And this month of September, we are acknowledging our prayer chaplain team. And folks, I'm telling you, we had our annual training with the team. It is nearly doubling in size this year, and right now these folks are, yes. And right now, not only do they stand in prayerful support of you here after and before any of our services where you want that one-on-one confidential experience, they're also placing monthly calls of prayer support to nearly 100 people. If you are not on a call list and you would like to be, our prayer slips that are on the prayer table to my left, they have a spot on there where you can ask to be added to a call list. So please, anytime, stop by that table, shoot me an email. We'll get you on one of those lists. And so the prayer chaplains that are with us this morning, would you please stand so that we can acknowledge you and thank you for all of your prayer support. Just some quick reminders. I think most of this has been said. After the service, go out. The sign-up sheets for small groups, they're out in the cafe. A table's out there. The books for our fall series are there for purchase. Pick up your book at the same time. I saw coming in earlier, there are some refreshments and coffee and so forth and snacks. So spend some time in greater community, continued connection with one another. And so let's speak together the mission statement of this community. Unity Church of Overland Park transforms lives and empowers people to make a difference in the world. Join us next week. If I have to get on a private jet to go get her, Reverend Jackie is going to be back. And she's going to offer a lesson that is entitled The Heart of Healing. It's going to be a prelude into the World Day of Prayer experience out at Unity Village, I believe. And so you don't want to miss that. I believe we didn't have any children this morning. Is that correct? Okay, well then why don't we all just stand as we're able to sing our closing song.
I see joy, I see peace. I see freedom, I see the beauty that lives in me. I see perfection in what life brings. I see God in everything. I feel joy, I feel peace, I feel goodness surrounding me. I feel love with every breath I breathe. Yeah, I feel God in everything. I see happiness, I feel freedom. I feel the beauty that lives in me. I feel perfection in what life brings. I feel God in everything. I choose joy, I choose peace, I choose goodness surrounding me. I choose love in every breath I breathe. I choose God in everything. I choose happiness, I choose freedom. I choose the beauty that lives in me. I choose perfection in what life brings. I choose God in everything. I know joy, I know peace, I know goodness surrounding me. I know love in every breath I breathe. I know God's in everything. I know happiness, I know freedom. I know the beauty that lives in me. I know what life brings. I know God in everything.
join with me now in speaking of the word to our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is all is well. Have a wonderful week, everyone.